Oh, it is working. Okay, cool. All right, so that's a potential long entry. I can't take it though. It's probably going to be a while before I can enter a trade. Really, the futures trade that I really wanted to enter, but I just wasn't ready. I was just trading options was this year. And man, good trade. Such a good trade. Like this is something that I have to enter every single time. Um, really hope all you guys were at least able to catch this because this was the only thing today that wasn't very gambly. Like this was beautiful. But you know, if NQ just made an oscillation, it will be bullish consolidation. It's probably going to go up right now, but if magically it doesn't go up and it dips and comes back up, I'm going to enter longs here. Obviously, I'm bullish at the moment, but as far as pivots are concerned, this is the big one right here. You can enter it now if you want, like if you want to risk. The problem is ES is on a major pivot, so it's kind of breaks my rules to take a continuation trade. So it looks like I'm probably going to sit on my hands a bit, which is hard to do with the market moving so much today. But you know, looking at this chart, I think it can drop for a big handle anytime. Something big like this. So we shall see. Looks like NQ is going to get to that pivot now, though. I could take a reversal trade off that pivot. I don't think I'm going to, though. You could. I could take a reversal trade off this pivot. Let me see. Say the top was somewhere right there. And I entered somewhere right here. Yeah, that's a trade I could take. Trend's too strong for me to take it though, realistically. It's way too likely to stop out. So, probably not going to take that reversal trade. That's probably going to come available. By the way, for all you guys react to the promo post, I'll announce it again in a bit. Yet another giveaway today. You guys are spoiled. Why are you bullish on the options trade when it got close to your stop loss? Would it be bearish? Oh, it was bearish, Tywork. No, this break to the downside was bearish. This candle was bearish. I added because it made the lower low, and I was still bullish overall. Like it's still in an uptrend, so it was temporarily bullish, but it's temporarily bearish, but I was bullish on a macro scale. The only thing that prevented me from stopping out was this final ES pivot and this wick. That was the only thing. The second that wick invalidated, I would have been out. And even when it got this green candle here, I said in chat, if this green candle goes, I'm out. And it didn't. It almost did right here. I was so close to stopping out, but by pure luck, I didn't. Um, I just decided to hesitate just a little bit because it wasn't the last 10 seconds of the candle. But that's really what saved that trade. Not proud of it though. I mean, it's rare that I hold through a 40% loss. Now it's easier to do because the contracts are only like 47 cents a piece. Like that's really cheap. Um, but yeah, it's rough. Anyways, I'm not taking a reversal trade here. NQ got to the pivot just as predicted. I mean, you have some more along the way. You know, I have this one up here, but there's really the big trade was here, and it's unfortunate that it happened that I wasn't trading futures or live for it because this was the big trade here. And now with futures, I gotta wait for an ice flag again or something. And I'm like I said, you can take the reversal trade if you really want it. The trend's just a bit too strong for me. I would rather dip buy than take a reversal trade. But here's your reversal candle off this pivot. So here would be the trade that I would take. I'd probably just go to the 38.2% fib. There you go. That's the trade. It's just for me, it's too strong of an uptrend. Pivots, the pivot isn't very major. Like it's a nice pointy pivot, but the trend is so strong. I don't want to get stuck in taking a bunch of reversal trades. That's something that I don't want to do because based on what I saw this morning with the way NQ like continuously just kept chopping up, I'm thinking it could do that again. So I'd rather dip buy than try to catch the top. But if you took it, it's not bad. I mean, NQ's weaker than ES, and that's a sizable red candle. Stopped out barely. Yeah, MTEB, that's just like um, my hypothesis was this flag, except I mean, if it invalidates the red candle, by the time I sent out the alert, this red candle already printed. You guys shouldn't have entered unless this buying wick invalidated, because that was the hypothesis, right? I'm getting in if the red candle invalidates. It's no longer, the majority of it's no longer invalidated um, when the alert got sent out. So I was stuck in it, so I have to go with it. But if you're following there, that you shouldn't have been triggered in, unless you got in at the same time I did. It's looking like NQ is a lot weaker than ES. For those of you that took the reversal trade, it's looking pretty dang decent right now. Were you going lighter size for futures? I'm not. I don't need to. I'm already light size. Good morning, Daniel. For those of you that just joined the live, this was the big trade here, and unfortunately, I did not take that on futures because I was still trading options. So I'm waiting for something I can trade. I called out this reversal trade, which you can take. I'm not going to. The trend's too strong. It's just not likely enough. And big thing, there was no major volume spike either. If there was a volume spike, I maybe would have pulled the trigger. It can still play out because NQ is weaker, but I like I said, I'd rather dip buy. So Fibs is going to be my friend today, or hopefully it's my friend. And I'm going to be looking for the 38.2% test, which would also be my PT for that reversal trade. But really, at any point, the 38.2% is where I'm going to be looking to buy. I just broke it by a little bit there. To me, I'm surprised the market dumped so much. Like, it dumped a lot. And I mean, it's because the market's been so propped up on AI and stuff that China's AI, I guess, is really good. And that really hurts the US's AI because it's so much cheaper, whatever it is. But to me, it didn't really seem that bearish. Like, I didn't, like, by the looks of the market, it looks like someone tried to shoot Trump again. This is what it looked like. Like, this is a crazy drop for something like that. And I get it on the NASDAQ, but on ES2, I don't know. So it dropped so much that off not that crazy of news to me that's like, okay, well, I can see it rebounding a bunch, but at the same time it dropped so much and so hard. I don't know how far it's going to rebound because, a 5% drop, almost a 5% drop on the Nasdaq on Sunday, it's hard to be bullish after that. The one trade I don't take is the trade that works out beautifully. It's a nice reversal trade. It's almost to your PT, 38.2%. Let me actually set up my journal. I didn't even do that yet. That's pretty much PT if you took that reversal trade. That was beautiful. If we invalidate most of this drop, I am triggered into longs though. And I'm thinking ES for the next blue line. Because that's pretty much a 38.2% test. Kind of hoping it chops down a little bit. But realistically, I'm able to enter it here. I would want multiple oscillations. I don't really want to get stuck in chop. But I don't think the odds of that are super high with how strong the trend is. If I enter NQ here, 150. Wow, NQ is moving a lot more than ES is. NQ's PT, profit wise, this NQ PT is like the same as ES's. Looks like it is going to go for that 38.2%. Yeah, DH me too. I think it's pretty odd. ES is a hell of a lot stronger. It's looking like I'm going to get triggered into longs here. If this candle closes right, I'm probably going to take it. I mean, I'm able to, and it's in favor of the trend, so I don't think it's bad. I think it's a doable trade. But of course, this trade is much higher probability than the reversal trade. But because the reversal trade played out, is this one going to play out too? There's your PT for those that took that reversal trade. Hurts my soul mildly that I didn't take it, but you know, at least I called it out so you guys were able to take it. There's a chance NQ flips stronger than ES after hitting that pivot. That's what I'm watching for, but it's looking like I'd still enter ES longs. Maybe not. Maybe ES is flipping weaker. I'd like to enter NQ. I want NQ to be stronger because there's so much more money in NQ right now. Or maybe we just put in the most textbook head and shoulders of all time if we go all the way back down. Not really thinking that's much of a possibility though. Thinking about a reversal trade on the 61.8. I think that's, again, it sucks that I didn't take that reversal trade, but it just wasn't very likely. Didn't get a volume spike, you know, whatever. But I think if it does get to the 61.8, that would be a great reversal trade to take. I do not see it going all the way back down. ES, however, is bouncing on the 38.2%. So my bullish bias is still intact. As long as it's over the 38.2%, I'm still fairly bullish. It's looking like now, if that big selling wick invalidates the green one on ES, I'm able to get in long still. Is NQ stronger though? All right, this candle's big enough I can enter. That is plenty big enough. Yeah, well, I'm in. We will see what happens. Could enter on NQ, but ES is stronger at the time of entry still, so I'm stuck going for that. We'll see. It's a decent trade. It would really be unfortunate if NQ ends up flipping stronger. That would really suck because I really wanted to be in NQ instead. It's not a very bullish candle. No, it looks like it's going to stop out. Did that one other time today. It's unfortunate that candle was just bullish enough to trigger me into the trade. If it goes back up, I'll give it one more attempt. Kind of called it. The reversal trade plays out, but the high probability continuation one doesn't. Kind of called in the beginning. May have jinxed it. I did not, knock on wood. It's looking like I may go for a reversal trade off the 61.8. Because now that it broke the 38.2, that's its target. And I can't really re-enter unless it gets all the way back up here. Looks like that was a great bull trap. Very good stop loss though. I'm feeling the reversal trade. I think it's going to get there. It's almost to the 61.8. I'm feeling it. That's a chance I'm willing to take. We'll see if it puts in a good enough reversal candle to do it. Type in chat, what do you guys think? You guys think it's going to reverse off the 61.8? It's got a really good risk to reward if it does happen. Or if it, even if it doesn't, it's looking like it'll be a pretty small loss. Now ES has perfectly swept both pivots today. There's a 61.8 on NQ. Yeah, it didn't quite touch it. Trade would be more like this. And obviously I'd have to take it to the 61.8 too. So I gotta wait for a good green candle to close. And yeah, maybe this one. I can't enter on that red candle. That's not a reversal candle. This is a reversal setup. If it closed right here, it is not bad to enter long. It actually looks pretty decent to hold a reversal. But I have a feeling this candle's going to close with a big selling wick. So we'll see if that happens. It popped up really early into this candle. Pretty in line with the 61.8 too. It's getting a selling wick. And, you know, it didn't perfectly touch the 61.8. Can't get in here. Even if the next candle's green, I ain't getting in. Was going to give it a chance, but yeah, I'd rather be picky with my trades. That's bullish. Invalidating the selling wick like that's bullish, but I can't enter anymore. So I need it to sweep that lower low. ES got to the 61.8 there. Is NQ going to get it as well? That's why we let our candles close, by the way. Technically able to get in if ES puts in a reversal candle, and I get in on NQ just based on its strength. That's what I'm thinking. GTZ, it could be head and shoulders, but it needs to get a lot lower for that to happen. If it starts this bounce this high, I'm thinking it's the 61.8 is actually going to be under, but I would like to take it all the way to this high right here. That's a solid PT. This is looking like an entry here. How is ES closing? Didn't do it. ES didn't get volume. It could bounce here. It could squeeze. It looks like, you know, there's still a lot of shorts entering here, creating these selling wicks, but they're starting to get invalidated, but still waiting. I'm gonna wait, and then once I enter, I'll switch to the MNQ chart. All right, there's a 61.8 on NQ. Even this red candle looks like it's at least gonna bounce on the next one. But, you know, it didn't validate a vast majority of this run, starting to have to flip bearish for that previous low. Expecting a bounce on this candle. If the entire red candle invalidates, that's enough for me to enter long. I'll take a chance on it. So we gotta wait how this candle closes. Need to let this candle close. I'm liking the shorts that are getting in right now. This candle ends up closing without that buying wick. I think it's a pretty decent gamble. Not a very high probability. I'd say maybe a 30% chance of working out, but a very, very high risk to reward to compensate for that. The selling what goes away, I'm in on this candle. Otherwise, I gotta wait an entire next candle. And it did not go away, so I'm not in. This candle, I'm bullish for it to bounce. I just gotta be very particular with So now I gotta wait for this candle to close. It could be bearish for low of day. That's really far away though. And here's the problem with shorts. Usually I would lean bearish for it to get to this pivot here. But the problem is when it looks so much like a perfect head and shoulders, the odds of that actually getting there go down so much. You guys see it all the time. You guys know the odds of it bouncing like here or even where it's at right now here. It's just way too high. Looks like ES flipped a lot stronger than NQ. Yeah, ES is a way better long at the moment. NQ is chopping down like it's in a falling wedge. The way it's kind of chopping down, but it's too steep. Looks like it can just break down, and it is breaking down. Man, no bear flags, no nothing. We're having great range, but I'm not able to make money on it. I'm not getting anything. Like, here's a potential reversal setup on ES, but now it's not even on a fib. So, I'm willing to take a 78.6 reversal. Because this drop is a bit steep. And this is one of those reversal trades where, you know, even if it gets to the next fib, it's stop loss going to break even. We'll see how far it goes. But nope, that is a bearish candle right there. I think we're gonna see, yeah, we're gonna see that low, and I can't enter because I can't chase it. It's stuck on the sidelines. Yeah, no, that's like below this 78.6. Yeah, I don't think I'm willing to enter a reversal trade after that, guys. If that entire red candle reverse invalidates on this candle, I may be. But I'm kind of thinking head and shoulders now. I think it's going to bounce. I don't know how high. The reason why I'm still considering a reversal trade is because it's an easy stop loss to break even and just kind of let it ride out. Like, ride it out and see what ends up happening. ES is a lot stronger than NQ. I kind of like it, guys. Yeah, I kind of like it. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. If it holds this candle, I'm going to give it a chance. It's going to be a really small loss if it doesn't work. Yeah, I took it. Very tight stop loss, giving it a chance. That do not follow the trade. It's going to stop out. And none of these green candles are holding any water. Yeah, no, that was quick. It might just get right down to that low. So now I'm pretty much just stuck playing that in shoulders. That's really the only thing I can do. Oh no, it perfectly got my stop loss. My stop loss may have been one tick too close, guys. I think it's going to bounce. I may have just got hornswoggled there. Nope. Would have got it anyways. Looks like NQ's going to get right to that pivot. Jeez, this is the first time this has happened in the second hour where you get a clean pivot to pivot like that with no bearish consolidation, no anything. It's a possible reversal candle on NQ. You're getting a volume spike and a buying wick. Unfortunately, I can't enter. But that last candle is a reversal candle. You could if you want. I'm not gonna sit here and just take a bunch of reversal trades. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not willing to take a bunch of tiny losses just back to back. That looks stupid. But now I guess now I'm looking for bearish consolidation to go to the nearest pivot. I'd like it to bounce hard though. Yeah, get rid of that. Reversal candle played out. I like it to. I think it can easily bounce and retest this 38.2% of this downtrend. I think it can get to right here. Hoping it goes higher. If it goes down right here, guys, I'm not really willing to enter short. Not after that reversal candle. Maybe I am because well no. Yeah, it's tough. Like you can maybe enter short right here. And that would be your PT, but I need higher highs. I needed to do something. I needed to put in the head and shoulders. If I enter right here, it's still so likely to do this. It's just today may be a day where the unlikely trades play out and the likely ones don't. Because technically you can enter right here, but it's never. This is never a trade I'll take. But I feel like it's gonna play out, which is gonna suck because that means I'm gonna miss out. But I needed to come up to here. I needed to at least test the 23.6 or the 38.2 while it's this clear of head and shoulders. It's looking like bearish consolidation. I think it's way more likely to break to the upside though. I hope it does. If it doesn't, I can't trade it. I'm gonna miss out. If it didn't put in this candle here, I would be able to get in. But with this starting off with these lower lows, I can't do it. Bare minimum. The absolute bare minimum for me to get in and having okay odds is bounce at least sweep this high here at the minimum. Sweep this high, then head down. And then that's a trade I could. If I take that trade and I look back in my. If I take that trade and I stop out, when I go back in my notes and review the day, that's a trade that I won't hate myself for entering. That's a trade I can enter. That's what I'm hoping for, GTZ. But NQ's weaker than ES, which sucks because I want to enter NQ. I want to enter NQ shorts, but I can't. It need after putting in that kind of a low, I need that low even got a volume spike. I need a higher high. I can't enter, so otherwise this would be my entry here. Can't do it. Man, it is so freaking weak. It's like pains me to sit on the sidelines because like yeah, the PT would be here, but realistically, it would be this ESPT here, which would put NQ somewhere down here, and maybe you can even trail it to this low. Like this could be a pretty nice size trade. It's a pretty clean bear pennant now. It's a clean bear pennant. If it happened up here, I can enter as well. But we are in the danger zone of a bounce to form the right shoulder. Just cannot do it. Like in the quizzes, guys, these are I don't put them in because it'll confuse new people. Like bear pennants are bearish, yes, but like for the advanced traders, I would send this chart. I would send this chart right here if I were being nice, and this would be bullish. Like this is like textbook one of the bear pennants that breaks to the upside most of the time. If you throw in demand and a pivot or something, then it's even crazier. But usually you can tell a bear pennant's going to break to the upside. Well, hang on, I might have to enter shorts here because now it's swept. Usually you can tell if it's on a pivot or like in demand or something, heavy demand on a pivot. But like this is one of the few bear pennants where I'd expect it to break to the upside. But now that it's swept, I'm gonna have to get in. And I feel like, the very next candle, it may sweep my stop like the other two trades, but if it closes this without the buying wick and it validates that entire green candle, I got to be in because that's the bare minimum there. And it did not. So now I have to wait for the entire next candle to close. So if it dumps, I'm going to be out of luck. But anyways, this is one of the very few bear pennants that's not in demand, nor is it on a pivot that I would still think breaks to the upside. And now that it kind of did, and it kind of did sweep some sell side liquidity, if it does go back down, I can warrant an entry. And it's a fine trade. This is a good trade now. Too early in the candle, but this is my entry here. Got to stick to my 10-second rule. My stop loss is going to be way too tight on this trade to not stick to the 10-second rule. Otherwise, you could enter and move your stop loss all the way up to here, but for me, it's going to be right here. And this is going to be my PT. Here comes the last 10 seconds. It's putting in a buying wick. It's trying to. Nope, that's enough. I did fill it. Gonna go to MNQ. Closed enough so I can do that. Now I said you can trail this trade. It could sweep me. That would just be unlucky, but this is a trade that I enter every time now. But if it does go the right direction, obviously I hope it does. I said you could just kind of trail your stop and wait for ES to get to this low, but honestly, this is a hard PT for me because it didn't really put in a right shoulder. If it put in like a nice sized right shoulder like this, then I would expect like big downside, but really didn't. Like this flag in comparison to this run is pretty small. So I'm not thinking it's going to extend the run by that much. So this is probably just going to stay a hard PT for me. But right now that's a morning doji star. So that looks like it's going to try to sweep my stop loss. It's not holding that right candle. So the morning star is invalidated. It's definitely a 4 out of 5 TA trade. We'll see. ES keeps looking like with these buying wicks like it wants to go up. But honestly, I'm thinking it's pretty damn likely that NQ comes to here and bounces. ES does something like this, bounces. If this flag were bigger, I'd trail my stop, but it's not worth the risk. It'll decrease the odds of this trade too much. What's the range? Usually GTZ, the more proportional things are, the better. So like, look how big that left shoulder is. Look how small that right shoulder is. It isn't even a shoulder yet. Um, so proportional, right? If this collar is down here and this shoulder got to here, well, if the collar's here, I'm thinking the shoulder's probably going to get to here or here. You know, it doesn't really matter. But now because the flag is so small, I think it's way more likely to do this and bounce. And then it could put in a head and shoulders, or it can just go up. That right there is a reversal candle, though, especially because NQ just made a lower low. So if that candle closes like this, it's not going to be looking too hot. It did close nice. I'm totally thinking this candle is going to flip green. I'd be surprised if this candle stays red. It's pretty rare that you get those lower lows like that and it doesn't produce a bounce. Able to move my stop loss a little bit up. Now that it dropped and swept a lower low, I can move it up just a tad. If it gets to here, it's going to clear this high. And I can't move my stop loss further because it's a head and shoulders. It can go all the way up here. Wow. Yeah, I invalidated that candle. That's pretty bearish. I was kind of hoping that by the time ES would get to this low, NQ would be at my PT. That was the goal. And I think ES is going to beat it there. And if ES sweep, because I'm expecting ES to sweep this and bounce. So if NQ is not at my PT by the time ES sweeps this, that's going to put the trade at risk. You could go break even stop loss, but honestly, it's barely at the 1-to-1 risk reward. I'm just going to let it go. Yep, there's a lower low on ES. Let's hope I'm not correct and it doesn't bounce. I got it. It's a breath of fresh air, huh, guys? What a breath of fresh air. Like I said, you could if this flag were bigger or this was a proper head and shoulders, I would trail my stop and let it go to here. And then if it broke past this, I'd put it to all the way to here and whatever. But the flag is just simply too small. I can't reasonably expect huge drop. But if we do break into here, like if we, because this is a ton of liquidity right here. You guys saw, remember this morning where it got all of these wicks? This is a ton of liquidity right here. If we break under this, yeah, I think we're gonna break demand. I think we're gonna dead cat bounce out of demand and then break it. So it looks like, yeah, I'm overall pretty bearish now. Because look, against the odds, it did not sweep this pivot immediately and start bouncing. That alone is pretty surprising. I'm thinking it's probably going to bounce when ES sweeps this, but it's invalidated so much of this run. I'm thinking this is it's bait. It didn't chop down either. If it chopped down, I'll be thinking it's putting in a handle, but it's not. So I'm bearish now. Let me finish journaling this trade real quick. good risk to reward. I'm barely red on the day now. Barely red. A fraction of a trade. And I'm back to green. All right, ES got to that pivot. It kind of looks like NQ maybe flipping stronger. And now I guess it's just waiting time again. It's tempting to take reversal trades, but the next decent reversal place I could take it is either right here, which I'm not willing to do, more so this blue line on NQ. But I don't know, with overnight happening, we might just go straight down like we did last night. So I don't think it's crazy to think that that's a possibility. Man, it looks like NQ wants to bounce. A reversal trade is tempting here. I'm not really willing to do it though. If it gets down to my blue line on NQ, I think I'm willing to do it. Otherwise, longs will look okay. Not much of a reversal trade, but longs like to here will look okay on ES and NQ to the high of that bear flag. Oh yeah, my volume profile is down on this. There you go. Yeah, it's almost there. I could. I could take a small gamble at a reversal trade off this blue line. Let's see where we're at on the grand spectrum of things. There's the line. I can't. That's not a reversal setup though. This candle makes a lower low with a big buying wick. I can. We're not even at 38.2% yet. Oh, it is a good pivot, GTZ. It definitely is. The thing that's conflicting with that is we're not on any major fibs as far as this entire trend is concerned. Yeah, we're not. Nice pivot though. If it validates a whole red candle, you can take a reversal trade, but I tried that style reversal already here and sold it for a small loss. Um, big red than big green, I'd rather not. I'd rather have a nice buying wick. Something like this. If this turned into a bull hammer right now with no selling wick, I'd take a gamble on it. And it did not. But the gamble would be something like this. And then once it got to here, I moved my stop to like here. And if it got a little higher, it'd go to break even pretty quick. It's a reversal setup, not taking it though. Didn't put in the right candle, didn't put in the right wick. It's already done too many bull traps on the way down. I mean, this was a great one. I had to get in longs there. Invalidating that selling wick is bullish. I think we can go for a decent little run here. A long trade I'm willing to take is somewhere long up here. I'm gonna have to see how it looks, but something like this I'm willing to do. So I'll wait, hang out a bit, and see what it ends up doing. If it goes back down, can't enter short. It's on this pivot. Um, so it's looking like it may be a while before I'm able to take this trade. Ooh, I'm thinking we can squeeze here. See how many shorts are getting in down here? I think we can squeeze up. Just not high. If it put in the right candle, I would be in longs right now, this early. You can if you want, but it's just too likely to chop down right now. With the way that low looks, I'm leaning fairly bullish here temporarily on NQ, but it's just far too likely to chop downwards and sweep my stop losses. I'm gonna keep hanging out my phone and wait until I'm able to get confirmed into another trade. That's a bear pennant on ES. Um, it, I, I think NQ's still gonna bounce though. It's a lot of potential for a squeeze. There's a lot of shorts getting in. Look at all the selling wicks. If those invalidate, it's really not a bad trade. It's just the odds are still too low for me to take it. GCD says, would 6008 be a good pivot on ES? There's no pivot at 6008. Yeah, there's no pivot there. This is void. This is all void right here. I wouldn't be surprised if we filled all this to the downside. I mean, it's really low liquidity. I mean, you can think of this as just a really, really big fair value gap. Um, all right, NQ got a nice bounce. It's almost like I called it. But the thing is, no idea how high it's going to go. That's another issue with taking longs. No idea. Because now, technically, that's getting this selling wick. You can warrant a short trade because now it's swept sell side liquidity is trying to come back down. but I can't. I need another oscillation. Again, the odds are just too low, especially with it on a pivot now. Um, I'd be willing to take shorts again if it did something like this. Put in another flag. But this is technically a short trade if you want it. It's NQ flipped weak. It's eh. Yeah, so a pivot is different from fibs, GTZ. A pivot just refers to a previous rejection area. Um, so like if you did use your fibs, I have no 6008. Let me see if I have it right here. I have 6000. I have pretty much 6010 as my next major fib, which would be a nice area for a price target. Yeah, I think so, Chimkin. If it makes another oscillation and comes back down, I'll hop in and I'll take it to the 38.2% of this entire run. I think that's a pretty decent PT. Or demand, you could take it to demand too. But that demand is fairly minor. Well, if NQ makes a lower low, we're going to have an issue. Because now it's not going to be a bear flag. So if we go up, I'm not going to be able to enter. Yep, there's a lower low. So that trade's kind of out the window. Back to looking like a reversal trade now. That is a reversal candle. If it closed like this, you can enter. ES didn't make a lower low though, so that kind of ruins it. And as far as PTs, it's... I'm kind of willing to take a reversal trade here on NQ. I kind of am. If this candle closes right, I think I may do it. I wanted to. But now I can't. Because now the candle's way too big. Back to sitting on my hands, I guess. Yeah, right when it started putting in that hammer, I'm like, you know what? It could totally reverse here. Unfortunately, 10-second rule kind of screwed me there. But that happens with the rules sometimes. Now, I still can take this trade here. I don't know if I want to, though. And if it goes back down, it would be a rather unorthodox short because NQ made a lower low, but yes didn't make a lower low. But with the size of that green candle, I don't think I'm willing to short. I think it's too likely that if it puts in a big red, the next candle is going to wipe it out. Double bottom on ES yet? Oops. Not mean to do that. I can move this pivot down now. Could enter shorts here. Way too early in the candle. Way too early in the candle. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything. This is not a very good time. And even if it gets a big buying wick and goes back up to where I could enter, it's too likely to just head back up. I can't. I'm not entering shorts here. It's got potential, though. If NQ didn't make a lower low, I would. And I'd trade ES to demand. But because NQ's got that lower low, it ruins the odds of it working out. During this downtrend, every single big green bull trap candle has ended just like this. I'm thinking, what are the chances it does it again? Next time it puts in a candle like that, I may enter long. It may be a little bit gambler's fallacy, but you had this one here, huge green candle. Immediately after, boom, right back down. Same thing here. I took both these trades, right back down. And then here, right back down. Starting to look like a compressed spring. What's up, Mr. Joe? Expecting ES to sweep this low. Gonna hang out back on. Gonna hop back on my phone and just kind of hang out. I can't get triggered into anything right here with good odds or a good risk reward. There's the ES low, by the way. It's a decent reversal setup. I kind of like longs here. If it gets back up to here, I kind of like longs. Again, it's a big risk to reward. I think the odds are okay of it working out. I kind of like this potential trade on the Nasdaq. I kind of like it. I mean, it's made multiple lower lows, validated the entire drop, and it's already got one explosion out of these lows. I don't know how much longer shorts are going to be able to suppress these buyers down here. I think that's a trade I'm going to enter because it's a falling wedge. I'm entering just a falling wedge. It's not like a crazy, it's not like a crazy trade, but here's what I'm seeing. And that's pretty much it. Yes, this is much more shallow, which usually the shallower the bottom trend line is, the less likely it is to play out. But it's a very weird rising wedge. It doesn't have a lot of like oscillations between the trend lines, so that doesn't the odds. That doesn't help the odds of it. But this is a trade I'm eyeballing right now. I think I'm gonna take this if it comes up and looks decent. See, it might be right now. Looks like ES is stronger than NQ now. One more decent green candle. I think I'm gonna take it, but I think I'm gonna take it on ES. What's up, Stonky? That is very unfortunate to hear, buddy. It kind of looks like NQ's like the same. All right, if this candle closes right, I'll hop in. I'll give it a chance. Honestly, I'm able to enter right now. I'd rather take an earlier entry because I think it's going to get to my entry anyways. But if I stop out, I'm going to lose a lot less. Yeah, it's my entry candle on NQ. Last 10 seconds, I'm in. As long as it doesn't change. Here come the last 10 seconds. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, well, we'll see what happens. It's a nice trade setup. Let's see if this is just like every other long where the next trade, just the next candle is just a massive red one. Knock on, I didn't knock on wood in time, guys. I did not knock on wood in time. This kind of reminds me of Friday. Like Friday chopped down, I entered a few longs before finally it worked. That last candle was an extremely bullish candle. NQ's yeah, NQ's a bit weaker than ES. They're really close. They're nearly the same. I think ES is a little bit stronger. The problem is that my PT's far. Like this rising wedge, the width of it is like this. The potential of this wedge equals this high. Is there a fib I can sell earlier at? I don't really want to hold all the way to that PT. I'd sell the 38.2, but that's a little close. The 38.2 is a pretty good price target. Oops. Never mind, I can't sell the 38.2. That's like the greatest breakout ever. By the way, notice the volume on this candle. Look at the volume. Oh my lord, that's like the greatest volume ever. That would be a shame if it goes down. That is actually like the greatest volume ever. Look at the volume. Notice how the candle is massive and there's not a spike. Look at the volume on ES. Steady increasing volume with massive candles. Are you kidding me? That is phenomenal. Like phenomenal, 10 out of 10. That is a very rare sight to see. There's the 38.2 and it's also in supply. So I may regret not selling here, but after that, how much momentum we have, I'm holding to the PT. And I could move my stop up a little bit more now and hurt the odds of the trade. Nothing. Wouldn't hurt them at all. Looks like they may get to PT at the same time. We'll see. Watch for an inverse head and shoulders now. This is a really nice pullback area. You can see it on both. Yeah, I can't sell at supply with that much momentum. I got to go to the pivot. You guys can sell, though. This was a fantastic trade regardless of what happens. This was glorious. See, now the last candle was much more bearish than the previous one because look how much more volume it had. It had a big volume spike, and the candle was a lot smaller. A lot of shorts entered there. Actually, gonna just keep creeping this stop loss up. It doesn't need to. There we go. That's a pretty small loss now. See if we get an inverse head and shoulders. The supply is not there. You're right. You're right, Bree. I'm on MNQ. That's my bad. It may not be there on NQ. Yeah, it's not there. I keep forgetting that I'm on MNQ. Yeah, I go by Nasdaq. I don't go by the micro charts zones. I go by the mini charts. BTN 92.5 is 2 ticks higher. I don't want that. 38.2% fib is a really nice resistance. Need this drop to invalidate, and then it'll look great. If it does invalidate, though, that's an issue. That will be a very big issue. I could have sold at 38.2% and then re-entered, but that's just way too much. That is way too bearish of a candle for an inverse head and shoulders. This candle needs to close with a buying wick. If it doesn't close with a buying wick, it'll be looking like I'm going to stop out of this trade. Which is a beautiful repeat of Friday. Like Friday did the exact same thing. Except this got 230 ticks, 59 points my direction before just turning around on a dime. Yeah, guys, that's looking like it's going to stop out. That is horrendously unfortunate. Great trade, though. NQ flip pretty freaking weak there. Unless it puts in a crazy buying wick. If it puts in a big buying wick and the next candle opens green, oh my gosh, we're so back. Knock on wood, because if that buying wick invalidates, it's done. But all right, this next candle needs to open green. And if it does open green and we get back up to here, honestly, I think it's going to go right through my PT. That's a lot of shorts that entered. That's going to be a lot of shorts to squeeze out. I'm going to be thinking we head to the 36, 31.8. Not 31, 61.8. See if it can do that. It's trying to do it. That's not a good candle close. It's a pretty ugly candle close there. And Q flipped a lot weaker than ES did. ES is still pretty high up. NQ is not nearly as high up as ES is. Let me see. If I entered here on ES. They're actually pretty similar. There's not a big difference there. There really isn't. I don't want it to go lower than that buying wick because then the inverse head and shoulders is pretty much invalidated, and that looks like what it's trying to do. Now, the left shoulder was yay big. I'll actually draw it. The left shoulder was from here to here. This right shoulder is like already at its max, and it's looking like it's not looking too great. These candles are too small. Man, a 38.2% would have been a good PT. If it didn't break out so freaking hard, I would have sold it there, but I didn't. That's a heartbreaker. Same thing happened on Friday. Unfortunate. That was a freaking beautiful trade. That was actually by far the best trade of the day. What are the odds, though? Finally, you get so much momentum, so many buyers entering just to turn around on a dime and just dump back down. This is a short entry, but I'm not going to reverse my trade. And today is such a shitty day for that. That was such a good trade. Well, if it bounces, I'll hop back in. I'm not going to get nearly as good of an entry as I got last time. Otherwise, if it bounces and invalidates, I can go short, but that may be it for today. That was such a nice trade. That is so unlucky. 2 days in a row. Friday did the exact same thing. Barely missed PT, held it for like an hour, and then it freaking dumped all the way back down. Man, if that hit PT too, I would have been in short here. Yeah, today's just meant to be a freaking terrible day. Because this would have been a very nice trade as well. Back to hanging on my phone waiting to get triggered into another one. Potential reversal trade there. I can't really enter. I mean, I can. It's just so likely to stop out. ES missed that lower low. You can enter a reversal trade, but man, ES is really bullish though. That is a very nice candle. Holy crap, that's a very nice. I'm gonna have to get back in. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Yep, I gotta get back in. Wait for the last 10 seconds. Like mentally preparing to stop out again, but this time it's gonna have to be on ES that I pop into. Way worse risk to award, way worse PT. I can't really have a hard PT on this one. This is a PT that you would just trail. Because this could be your PT, but really by the time it gets there, I'm gonna be looking for this high on NQ. So we shall see. And I cannot believe 2 days in a row the same thing happened. Massive run and then all the way back down in like 4 minutes. So unlucky. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna stop out too. If that candle was any less large, I wouldn't get into that trade. If this entire green candle invalidates, it is a short trade. I won't be getting in because I don't reverse my trades. But it's actually looking like a head and shoulders on the NASDAQ. These candles are crazy. It's so easy to get faked into trades. None of these huge momentum moves are lasting long. Very good early stop loss there, by the way, if you want it. I didn't really take it in time. I was writing this down. That was at 10 o'clock. Getting nothing today, yeah. Not much I can do about. Oh, that's lovely. Technically supposed to re-enter here. I'll consider it if I do re-enter here. This is my last trade. I'm gonna have to. Gonna have to, and it's gonna have to be on NQ. If this candle flips green, I'll hop in for one last trade. Actually, looks like ES is stronger, so it's probably gonna have to be ES that I hop back into. Yes, it very much so is. I have to get in. There's the last 10 seconds too. It's my final trade. It swept me by one tick, and my stop loss was very far. So we'll see. And I got the world's worst fill on that. But it's my final trade. If I lose this, then it's like I'm down by one average green day, and that'll be it. My first double X stop loss that I've had in I don't actually know how long. Since Thursday. Looks like NQ is end up flipping stronger. It sucks because I wanted to enter the Nasdaq, but during the candle it was weaker during the entry candle. So PT for this, and I can move up my stop loss now. I can actually move up my stop loss more. If it gets all the way down here, it shouldn't. PT for this is my previous NQ PT. So wherever that may take me. Yeah, today could have so easily been a green day. If I took this reversal trade, which I get that I didn't, like it was fine that I didn't take the trade. Called it out though. But if I didn't take that reversal trade, I wouldn't have got into this long or this one. And if this trade didn't freaking scam me, that would have been great. I would have been able to take shorts to this low. If this trade didn't sweep my stop loss by one tick, I would be in this trade just with a better average. Like you guys have watched the most unlucky events unfold, and to the average trader, their psyche would be absolutely fried, and they would be doing heinous things. I'm sure probably half of you guys in here are doing heinous things as we speak, but let me be your motivation to not do those things anymore. Sometimes you just gotta accept being a victim. Man, such a almost a great like it's so rare that I'm red on days with this much volatility. Like so freaking rare. So unfortunate. Friday too. Friday was such a good. It was almost so good. We were in that long trade for like an hour before all of a sudden, just like it did right here, just dumped all the way back down. But anyways, yeah, I'm not selling until NQ gets to my PT or stop loss, of course. And I'm actually able to move up my stop more because it swept this high, so I can move my stop to there. Really, the only thing I should have done different is my stop could have been all the way at break even on the NQ trade. It got high enough too. But that is a bearish sweep, so it looks like it's going to stop out, and it could be a short entry, but I'm not willing to take more losses. Where I'll be at on the day is like one medium size green day. I mean, it's like two, maybe two and a half green trades, and that's where I'll call it. So unfortunate. Such an unfortunate time. That was me earlier today with QQQ. Yeah, don't break your rules. You guys literally watched the most unlucky shit ever happen to me, and you don't see me breaking my rules. And ES flipped weaker. Nice. I wanted to be in NQ. It's unfortunate. It's pretty much guaranteed to get stop loss. Like 91, I give it like a 91% with ES flipping weaker. If it, even if it invalidates this drop, it has a solid chance. But now we're going to be chopping up. Price action is no longer looking good. Never mind, that looks decent now that ES flipped stronger, or it looks like it might have. Actually, I think they're even now. Oh, it looks like ES. It looks like ES is just more reactive to the downside. So that fantastic candle fully invalidated. So I'm back to thinking it's for sure going to stop out. It had a chance there. It had a very good chance. But honestly, now I'm thinking I think it's going to sweep this low, then shoot back up. I think it's going to do something like that. It's a pretty good chance that right after I get off here, it's going to become very good price action because the chop is going to be about done. I'd say after it sweeps this low. But I will not be taking part in that. Was that 10:08? All right. That's what perfect psych looks like on the worst day of. Was that the worst day of January? Let me see. I had one other slight red day, and then I had one big red day. Which was I down on that big red day? No, this is the second worst day of January because I've had three, maybe. I think I've only had 3 red days this month. Yeah, the other day I was down a little bit more where I was just 0-4. Man, today could have been so freaking good, man. One less stop loss that didn't get swept, or, this made it to PT, but it is what it is. That's what perfect psych looks like. Sometimes you just get hella unlucky, and as long as you don't break your rules over it, fold like a lawn chair under pressure, you'll end up making it all back. But all right, I'll call it here. I'm probably gonna wait to do the trade review today. I know I said I do it right after, but I waited a long time just for nothing to happen. So I think I'll probably do it at like 11 my time. So stay tuned for that. But all right, if you continue trading, good luck. I assume like I said, I called out. I think price action is gonna get good within the next 30 minutes or so. But I'm at my limit today, so I can't trade any further. Could be worse though. At least my options is green. I will see you guys tomorrow. Good luck if you're trading. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in probably 50 minutes for the trade reviews. And then we have the promo giveaways as well. So react to that post. And I think we're going to just draw all of them. I might have stuff going on this afternoon. So we may draw all of them early. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But all right, I'll see you guys later.